Welcome to Action Coaching. I'm certainly delighted that you joined me on today because God has a special coaching word just for you. I certainly want to encourage all of you that enjoy Action Coaching. Make sure you hit subscribe, share, and like so that others can know about Action Coaching and so you can be kept up to date at all of the episodes of Action Coaching. Action Coaching is designed because I believe that everybody needs a coach in life, mentor, or whatever term you want to use. You need someone that have been ahead of you in the way to help guide you down the track that you are going. And that's what all Action Coaching is all about. So I certainly want to encourage you to make sure that you help us expose Action Coaching to others so they can partake in these exciting coaching sessions. Now today, and probably the next several weeks, I'm going to be dealing with this. But when I was in college, the brief time that I was in college, we had to do a research paper. And of course, we're going to the library. And I wasn't particularly concentrating on the paper that I had to do the research on. For one, I'm an avid reader. I do love to read. And so as I was noticing different books, I just picked up a book and decided to see what the book was all about. But in the process of picking up this book, that the book had a chapter that said, learn from the future back. And I was real curious about that particular title of a chapter. And I found myself spending some time, rather than doing a research paper, but just reading that particular chapter in the book. So this is what I want to do in this series of Action Coaching. I'm going to use it for my title, Learn from the Future Back. And then, of course, I want to just simply take some time to explain to you exactly what I mean and how we definitely can benefit from learning from the future back. Now, when I first went to school, elementary school, on to, at that particular time, they were calling it middle school, or they kind of called it junior high and in high school. The basic thing that they were teaching us is to, learn this lesson so that you can ultimately graduate from middle school, high school, or college, whatever, and go on and get a real good job. Nobody ever talked to me or maybe my classmates that not only was this education beneficial, but nobody ever said, what if you ascribe to be something more? What if you eventually wanted to branch out into things that had not yet been mentioned at that particular time? All we knew was go to school, graduate, and get a job. And so that was kind of the path we went down. Now, think about it. If some things that you even think about and I think about, if we would have did it right back then, we would be so much better today. All right, let me give you an example. When I was in high school and college, of course, I loved the parties. I loved all of the things that we participated in. Yes, from the drinking, the smoking, and all of the things that we did, we richly enjoyed them. And of course, it wasn't just the parties that we participated in them. when we got out of the parties, we would endeavor to participate in those things. And of course, when we got in the classroom, most of us just learned enough to get a good grade to get out of the class. And we didn't know that some of the things that we were doing back then and some of the things we didn't pay much attention to back then, when we got older, it was going to have a great effect on us. We didn't understand that if we didn't properly adjust a lot of the things in our life at that particular time, that later on in life, it would impact how we were able to live and how we were able to do things. A lot of us, as we have gotten older, understand that a lot of health challenges and things we having to deal with was simply coming from the way we did it years ago. And we didn't understand, we were too young. We just thought we were going to be young always and that these things would not bother us. And eventually, as you get older and start getting physicals, and then you find out things that the doctor will say, oh, you know, we can treat this, but if you start dealing with it years ago, we would not have this issue. So I kind of understood by reading that particular chapter in the book. I hadn't totally grasped it, but I kind of understood that if there is to be a future, what you do in the present is going to greatly affect your future. Now, I am thankful to God, and I don't want to come off like I'm just an exception. There are millions of people that are experiencing the same thing. But it wasn't until I got in college. Now, I went to college not really to learn much. I just went to college to have a good time at some more parties and enjoy the whole college campus experience. But it was in college that I kind of had what I like to call my Damascus Road experience. Now, what does Damascus Road mean? In the Bible, it talks about when Paul had one goal in life, but when he was on the Damascus Road, a light shone and Jesus kind of knocked him off his horse and gave him a whole new direction in life. So I had my Damascus Road experience. I felt like that I could be something more. I could achieve great things. That I could be better than what I was dealing with right now. It wasn't like I had to ask somebody, but the decision came to me. I don't want to just go to college and get out and get a job. I found myself thinking, why can't I own a business? Why can't I do much more? And I began to ask those questions of myself. That it got to be more to life than this. Now, of course, let me just give you this side note. Preaching was not in that equation. Pastoring was not in that equation. Making money and doing things was a part of that equation. So none of these other things were in that. And as I began to proceed toward that, I began to see how intense the struggle was going to be, because early on in life, I had no direction so I can learn from the future. And what do I mean by that? I'm blessed with two wonderful sons. Thank God for them. But I realized that when my sons were much younger, I wanted to put them in an environment that would teach them to be what I call free thinkers. Put them in an environment where they had to strive even more to achieve. I recognized their gifts and talents, and I decided to put them in places, educational and in life, so that those things could be pushed and explored. I understood that what I do in their present is going to greatly shape their future. Now, here we are today, and it's not just people that suffer with that. Business suffer with that. Organizations suffer with that. And yes, churches suffer with the same problem. Now, what do I mean by learning from the future? God is usually going to raise up or allow you to experience a process where you're either around a group of visionary leaders or visionary people that see that there's something more than just right here and right now, to help us understand that the experiences we are enjoying right now are not going to last always. It's as if in the present, if we don't prepare for the future, we will never make it. Now, I don't want you to go anywhere. I'll be right back to talk to you.
Sitting on my bed, watching a preacher preach on the television screen. And I said to myself, Lord, I can do better than him.
I left off talking about how visionary thinking, visionary leaders. And most of the time, people that are visionary leaders and visionary thinkers, I'm here to tell you right now, they are going to be fought. Yes, it's going to be the battle of your life. Because people don't like change, because they feel like that whatever they're doing right now is never going to change. For instance, when we grew up, we were used to, going down the store, get what we want. If it's a grocery store, going to the grocery store, drugstore, on and on and on. We live in an age now where you have things like Amazon and different ordering service. You don't have to even leave the house. You just go on the computer and hit a few buttons, pay for it, order it, and they'll deliver it at your house. Things have changed. Things are moving forward. So how do we, as people, understand this process by learning from the future? Here is the way God does it in His Word. God gives vision. And certainly visionary leaders and visionary people have a way of inspiring other people to dream bigger, to see themselves not just right now, but see themselves in their future. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, I don't want to concentrate on the future. I just want to live right now. Yeah, you living right now. And if you continue to live, you're going to live in a future that if you're not prepared for, you're going to feel like you a stranger and not ready to pursue the things that you're supposed to pursue. The bottom line is that God in His Word give vision. Now, what is a vision? A vision will let you see where you can go, what you can do, even though you don't have it at this particular moment. I like to call visions, it's the same principle as a television or the movie theater or whatever you go to and you view something on the screen or on your computer. If I go to the movie and view a movie, then they're not making the movie as I'm watching it. The movie has already been made. And by them showing it in the theater, they just showing you a movie that you can enjoy that's already been created. That's what a vision is. That's what a visionary person is. No matter what your gifts and talents are, do you have a vision that you can see your future? That you can see, that you can ascribe to do much more, that you can be blessed even greatly? So that's why God in His Word talks about things. He said, where there's no vision, if people don't have no vision, they're not prepared for the changes in their life. And I dare say I'm a pastor of a church. Love the people that I pastor and thank God for them. But however, sometimes one of the hardest things to change in a ministry and in a church, and I'm the pastor, is you'll have a set of people that want the old time way. I understand that years ago we used to do things a certain way. But that past did not just stay right there. It moved on into the future. I remember when we used to go to church and dance and shout and have a good time, and we were in revival 7 days a week, and we were just rejoicing, and we didn't know nothing but Jesus. Then all of a sudden we grew up, started having kids, getting married, having husbands, having jobs, having responsibility, and we understood we couldn't stay in church 7 days a week. Did that mean we were less holy? No, it didn't. Did that mean we were less religious? No, it didn't. It meant that the present was moving toward the future. Now, here is my last point in the time that I have today that I'm going to discuss. What happens when a person have a vision? How do you know when a person have a vision? Well, a couple of things is going to happen when a person have a vision. Now, a lot of people have dreams. They just have a good night thinking, and then they get up and they're the same old person. But how do you know when a person have a vision? How do you know when you have a vision? See, a vision helps you learn from the future. I got a vision. When I got my vision, I was sitting in my home at that particular time, only had furniture in one room. But when the vision came, I saw myself doing much more living a different reality than the one that I was in right now. And I'm here to tell you, the vision was awesome. Man, it was amazing. And all of you know, and a lot of people know, when you have these amazing dreams, a lot of times you just hate to wake up because the dream is so awesome. But at the end of the day, you had to wake up, and boom, you couldn't even hardly remember the dream that you have. God speaks in vision. Life is lived and enjoyed by visionary people. People that are willing to see beyond where they are right now and believe that there is a hope and a future for them. Now, how do you learn from the future? First thing is, when a person get a vision. Now, how do you know a person really got a vision? Well, these next two things I'm going to tell you how you know they got a vision. Now, some people just having another dream. Just leave them alone. They'll be the same person they always been in just a few moments. But how do you know you have a vision? Okay, well, these are the things I learned from me. Now, it may be different for you, but I learned from me. And I learned from seeing my future. Now, when I had a vision, the second thing I had to do, I had to come up with a strategy to achieve that I saw I was going to be, but I had to have a plan to be what I saw I was going to be. So I had to have a strategy. There were things I had to change. There were people I couldn't associate with anymore. There were places I had to stop going. I had to come up with a strategy. Now, I don't want you to go anywhere. I'll be right back to talk to you.
Tap somebody and say, I'm made for miracles. You know why God allowed things to happen to you? He want to teach you that there are about 5 people got it. He want to teach you that there are. So whatever the devil knock you back with, God said now's the time to show him that he can't keep me there. Y'all ain't talking. Now is the time to let the devil know greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world.
I left off talking about how I had to come up with a strategy. You got to have some goals in life you're going to have to work on if you're going to get to where you saw you should be. So it's got to be a plan. So a lot of things I had to cut out. A lot of things I had to get better in. A lot of things that I took for granted that I wasn't going to ever use in life, I had to go back and learn it. So that was the strategy. So it took a minute to develop the strategy. And when I got the strategy together, then I had to work on the strategy, and then ultimately the strategy turned into the work. Now that I got a plan, I can work on it, and thus the vision came all the way to pass. Oh, I'm having a great time today, but my time is all gone. But I'd like to love to hear from all you visionaries out there how this is blessing you. I'm going to be teaching more on it, and I want you to join me because we're going to learn from the future and enjoy. And we're going to begin tweaking things right now so that we can have the awesome future that God has given us. So I want to hear from you and let me know. And join me, and God is going to richly continue to expose this word to us. Now, before I leave you on today, I want to encourage every one of you to sit down and sow a generous seed faith offering for the support of Action Coaching. Yes, we need your support so that we can continue talking to more people about learning from the future. Yes, all of us got a future, and we can learn some things where we can enjoy it. So I would love for you to sit down and sow a generous seed faith offer to support us. Some can give 100, some can give 200, some can give more. But give it to Action Coaching today so we can continue to expand and bring you more exciting things from God's Word and, of course, the experiences that I have had. There's a link in my bio. I would love for you to sit down and sow a generous seed faith offering for the support of Action Coaching. And I'm going to be praying and believing God that God bless you for every seed that you've sown on today. Once again, there's a link in my bio. Sit down and sow that seed and watch God richly bless you. Well, the Lord bless you. I've certainly enjoyed sharing with you on today. And as I do each and every week, I want to encourage you. Share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.